Hello peeps, Dee here. Welcome to my studio, welcome to my channel, welcome to this little tutorial. Now you guys know, maybe some of you are new, but I do have a members classroom, and in my members classroom this was a class, all these jelly rolls. Well, sometimes I take and I lift an excerpt out of one of those classes and I put it on the open channel where everybody can see it. So today we're going to do this jelly roll. It's a snail type jelly roll, one of my favorites. Here's another rendition. You can see that it is different. This is a finer pattern. Anyway, so that's what we're doing. Now, these, as you see here, are the rest of the jelly rolls that I instructed students how to make in the longer, bigger class on the members classroom. If you're interested, you got to join the members classroom. Okay, so that's it. I think it's time for us to make this jelly roll. All right, so now we're going to move on to the snail type jelly roll. Now, what you see here are two basically the same cane, however, they do look different, don't they? This is, it has more revolutions than this. This is a very kind of chubby, bold snail, and it's not that I don't like it, just that we're going to make this one first. Now, I believe there is definitely in this one, there's more white than black. You know, all of our canes have not been equally black and white. More black here, more black here. You know, actually this might have been very close to the same. This cane has equal parts of black and white. This cane, I believe, has more white. So I've started with the two sheets that we've started with before. 2 inches by 6 inches rolled through the thickest setting of the pasta machine. Now, what I'm going to try to do is make a bullseye cane that is this size, okay? Which means that I may in fact have to add more white, because the final wraparound will be this one, which is the same black we've been using or starting with. Actually, the white we've been starting with. Okay, but I believe that if I can get there, I will be, actually, you know what? This is what we're going to do. I'm just going to take this and wrap it around and determine, use this to determine how much white I need. I'm going to do a little bit more because this cane is slightly reduced. So what I want is white to fill this space. Okay? Yeah, that worked out much better. Now, when I'm doing my cane work, I usually am not this particular about the amounts of clay because I don't really have to be. But for a class like this, yes, I think it's important because you have to be able to make your canes the same size. We're going to need that uniformity when we make our final necklace. Okay, now that is basically all the white that I used for this cane, right? That's it. And that's what it looks like without the black. So just kind of roughly, I'm going to wrap it around, and clearly there isn't enough white. I've rolled more white. Now, I don't know how much this is. 2 inches by approximately, here, 2 inches by another 6 inches. So let me start to wrap this around. let's see whether this is too much or too little. Wrap it around, and it is very close. Very close. Let me slice off a bit. Yeah, it's really close. There we go. All right, close enough. So this is the volume of white, and it is 11 and, I don't know, I'm not, is it 11 and a half inches? Approximately. It's close. So let me actually take a little tool. And I've got to integrate that edge into the hole, so sometimes it's just faster to use something like this and even just whip it over like that. I just want to move the clay. And if I did this to do that, it could take a very long time. So by directly addressing it with a tool like my brush, I can accomplish the task faster. I have black clay on my hands. Okay, that's looking good. Now let's wrap. And this is called a bullseye cane. Another one of those wonderful basic canes that that you will find if you get into caning. You're probably going to make quite a few of them. Bring the ends together. I don't know how that happened. I have a little cut in the sheet. I might have sliced it. Let me just inspect that. I think it's fine. Not sure why that happened. Could have been a blade accident. Okay. So here's our basic black and white bullseye cane. Now this has to be reshaped, and the basic shape is going to be tapering out like this, okay? So what I will do is just start to pull a point out like so, you see? All right, now I'm going to take the heel of my hand and just push to flatten it, turn it over, push, push, push. Like so. And you know, I can use my acrylic rod for this. This area here is way too thick, so I'm going to take my acrylic rod and I'm just going to flatten it like so. Might as well use a tool. And it's going to be even thinner. Thinner. Yep. Now, let me just push the ends in a bit so it's not getting out of control. because as I'm rolling, see how much taller it's getting? So as I roll, I think I'm going to try to maintain the same height, not let it get away from me, which it certainly can do. A little bit lopsided. See, this area has no black, and I will probably just have to live with that, to tell you the truth. Okay, so this is as wide as it's going to be. So this represents the widest part of the jelly roll. Okay. All right, so let's start tapering and pulling out this way. And I wish I'd been more careful here. I was rather careless. So look at that. This is not what you want, because that represents a whole area of cane that will not be usable and will not be good. Might not be too bad because I've got the black. This black will curl back, so there will be some black on that area. It just won't be as thick. I'm just going to pull it out with my fingers. The clay is nice and soft. It's very supple. It's easy to pull. I can pull it out and it won't crack. Okay. I'm going to bring this to a taper. And when I'm doing this, I place my acrylic rod on my work surface and then I pull back on it. I roll back. Flip it over, repeat. All right, so this is the bad side, but this is the bad side. But I'm going to cut some away to show you what's happening inside. See, I'm tapering this to a point, right? So let me show you what's happening inside. Just going to cut as little as I can. The tip is what I want. All right, so as I've reshaped, you can see that the sheet on the side has just gotten nice and thin like this. But as it hits that point, look at how thick it is, right? Because all that clay from the side is sort of gathering at that tip. So if I were to continue and roll this up, I would have all that black clay in the middle of the jelly roll. Kind of like this. You see all that, see that black blob there? Well, what that black blob is this extra clay here. It's got to go somewhere. Okay, so to avoid that, I am going to cut a lot of it away. With me blade. Okay, so let's just try doing a straight cut across and look at what I've cut away. It's all black. So all this would be sitting in the middle of the jelly roll. We don't really want that. cut some more. And you can see I'm not cutting like mass amounts of clay away. Now I'm going to cut at an angle to remove some of that. Like so. Let me turn it over and let me do the same thing. So I'll try to cut some of this away right there. And you see there's quite a bit. All that would be in the middle. Okay, that's looking pretty darn good. There's going to be some of that black in the middle, but not that huge blob. That huge blob. Just a little more. So at this point, basically, I'm just kind of shaving away little bits of clay. Looking good. Now, let me roll back some of this. Make it nice and smooth. Okay. Ooh, yeah, this is going to be good. I have very good feelings about this. I do. See, so all that blobby clay at the end is gone. Now, I have to address this end. And I'm going to taper it out kind of the same way. Not as long a taper. But I definitely have to taper this end as well. There we go. Now, you know, the same thing is happening. I've got that excess black clay that is collected at the point. Am I going to cut it away? I haven't. Here, I didn't cut the excess black clay away, so I think I'm just going to leave it. I am going to taper it more than it is right now. But I'm not going to cut it away. Black clay. And the taper, of course, is not as long. You see, here's the thickest point is here, and it is tapering this distance. The thickest point is here, and it will only taper out maybe this much, from here to there. Okay. Okay, are we ready to roll? I think so. Okay, so the easiest way I have found is to start like this. Just start by trying to push the same thing. And I'm not rolling that way, I'm kind of rolling to me. To me. Not away from me, but to me. Slowly, slowly. Now this clay, I'm really asking this clay to stretch a lot over this mass of white clay, aren't I? So that means I have to go a little slower. Even slower. Giving the clay a chance to catch up and stretch. You move too fast and the clay is just, it gives up. It's like, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. Or it says, I'm going, but I'm going to give you a great big old crack. Okay. So when it's this thick too, you can try just flexing it out like so. You know, this is also helpful. The warmth of my palms is also helping. Pull it over because, you know, the clay responds to warmth. It does. Situations like this, it really likes being warm. If the clay is too cold, then, well, you're probably going to get cracks. So warm the clay as you roll. And probably holding it in my hands as I roll is helping as well. Okay. Okay, so we are getting there. All right. Yes, I am asking my clay to do a lot for me. Now, this process might be simpler with softer clay. I would not say it would not be, but there are advantages and disadvantages to each of these processes. I mean, sometimes it seems like, oh yeah, this is much easier to do this, but then you move along and it's harder to slice, or it's harder. Other things are more difficult. The more you work with clay, the more you will find out what those advantages, those pros and cons, are inherent in every clay brand. They all have something to offer, but not necessarily the same things. The advantages and the disadvantages are not necessarily the same. Okay, so there is our cute little, oh, I love it. All right, so let me make a cut. I'm gonna cut. Let me clean my blade. And here is the jelly roll, and I love it. It's a good-looking jelly roll. But look, see? Even though I cut all of that away, look what happened. I still got quite a bit. So this guy, I must have cut it all away here. So take a look at these two, and you can see the difference. I like this. Clearly, I can see the spiral. Okay, peeps, well, I hope you enjoyed the class, and I hope you make lots of these snail jelly rolls. I find them very useful myself. Also, if you're interested in learning the rest of this, then you're going to have to join the classroom. Now, it isn't free, but I think I've priced it very favorably. Yeah, for what's in the classroom, because there are tons and tons of classes. So that's it for me. If you liked the class, please hit like. And if you're not a subscriber, I hope you'll subscribe if you like the class. All right, so I'm Donna Kato, and I think it's time for me to sign off. Bye.